the summer rain that falls.
Welcome to East Coast DNA. I'm your host, Darcy Walsh, and today's guest, returning guest, Melina Coolen. Welcome, Melina.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
So it's been probably just a little over a year since you were on the podcast here before.
Yes,
And
it was for my second EP out in February.
Yeah. And I know that we had talked about you kind of a little behind the scenes and as a composer of the songs and bringing in feature vocalists. Sarah Frank and Jade Bennett, a friend of the podcast now, who is new to me at the time.
Oh, cool.
So
was she on here recently?
Back in November as part of the Music Week, Nova Scotia Music Week coverage.
Nice.
She was in there with Avery Dakin.
Cool.
So now that you're back on, you have a new single.
Yes.
So maybe let's start off, you could tell us a little bit about the single, and then you can fill our viewers in on what's happened over the past year.
Sure. I recently released a single on June 23rd. It was called Nothing at All, and it features vocalist Linda Vilela.
And where did you find Linda?
I actually found her on air gigs.
Okay.
It was my first time using it, but I really wanted to release the song right away, and I thought this was like the fastest way to find like a professional vocalist. And I reached out to her, and I just got a good vibe right away. I kept listening like to her SoundCloud, like something about her voice just really stood out to me, and I think this is the voice.
And I've not heard air gigs, it's called.
Yes, air, like the air.
Yeah.
And it's where you can work with musicians like all over the world. And this was actually my first time working with a musician outside of Canada. She's actually in Portugal.
Okay.
So she recorded the vocals on her, and like I gave her the demo material, like the lyrics, and I sing the melody line, and I sent her me singing it as an example, and then told her she can do like her own like emotions, like power vocals, and and then she sent me the finished product back, and yeah, it was really nice working with her.
Did you leave any of your own vocals in the final mix?
I didn't for this one. I was tempted to for the backing vocals, but then I thought I'll just have one person doing the whole thing.
And for the rest of the instrumentation, I know you do a lot of your stuff on piano, but
Yes.
who else do you have working with you on the single? Is this something that you did yourself from top to bottom, or do you have other musicians with you?
I have two other musicians. I have Jacob Sluice again for drums. He was my drummer on my second EP as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Daryl Cameron on guitar. It's my first time working with him.
Yes, and shout out to Daryl. I knew that Daryl was on it. I just want you to say it.
Oh, yeah.
So, hi, Daryl.
Hi, Daryl.
Yeah, a fan of everything he's doing out there too. I like checking in on Blue Acres Facebook group there.
Oh yeah, that's a great resource for musicians just to kind of connect and help each other. It's really nice.
Absolutely. So in the past, well, like I said, it's been a little over a year, so we won't limit it to 12 months. But since the last time that you were on, what else has happened in Melina's world? I know that you were kind of restructuring a little bit as far as your music end of your online presence. So fill everybody in on what's happened in the last year.
Okay, yeah, sure. I decided to get off Facebook. It was sort of a big move for me, but personally I just sort of felt like I wasn't using it as much, and I just thought I'll make the move to get off. Unfortunately, you can't just have an artist page. You have to have the personal one too. So I thought I kind of like where Instagram's going. So I thought I'll focus on keeping that going. So that's where I am for social media now. But I also started up a newsletter. So it's brand new. And I thought that's a fun way to connect with people because it's on Substack. So people can comment on the posts as well. So it's kind of interactive as well.
How frequently does the newsletter come out?
Right now, I'm thinking probably about 4 times a year. So nothing too like frequently right now, but just to give little updates here. So I'll probably have another one in December.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you been performing live in front of anyone?
I haven't yet, but I've been thinking about maybe getting some musicians together and maybe doing something. It's always something I'm sort of kicking around in the back of my head about doing. Um, so maybe I'll do that at some point. But I guess the next sort of thing I have on the go is I'm looking at releasing some some of my older songs as well, including instrumental. And I didn't release instrumental songs in a while, so I think that'll be fun and something I'm thinking about maybe doing under an artist name to keep separate from my songs, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so it's still it's in the early stages of
Yes.
brainstorming, but there's content to be delivered. It's just how to
Yes.
package it and send it out into the world.
Yes.
And with the new single, then is there other new songs that would be going with that as Melina Coolen?
Oh, yes. Not all on the same like album or anything, but I'm
Hmm.
thinking about releasing like a single like maybe every 3 or 4 months sort of thing. Like maybe that would be about 4 times as
Hmm.
well in a year. So I have some songs lined up and two of them I'm actually doing vocals on. So that'll be fun to release.
Oh well, that'll be great to hear because I know
Yeah.
we had discussed that a little bit when you were on the first time too. So it'd
Yeah.
be nice to see the progression and where
Yeah.
you get to with it. That's really exciting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Two of them I already recorded like long ago. It was before I knew how to like mix properly and everything. So it's like I'm going back and just sort of tweaking that and redoing what needs to be redone. And I'll
And
probably get my drummer on that as well.
so you're doing all the mixing yourself then for these?
Oh yes, I've always done all my mixing.
Yeah. So you're gonna and when you finish it, do you have anyone else that has their fingers in there, or it's a Melina Coolen project?
I'll probably get my drummer Jacob Sluice back on if
Hmm.
he's available. I like working with him. And otherwise it'll probably all be me. One song I'm debating getting some guitar on there, but I'm not sure yet.
And what about for other vocals? You mentioned that there's a couple that you'll be doing with your own vocals, but do you have any intentions of working with other vocalists on the other songs?
Yeah, I do have some that I'd like to feature some other vocalists on. One of them I haven't asked Linda yet, but I'm thinking about asking her again. And another I was actually thinking about asking I haven't featured males yet, not for any reason, but I was
Yeah.
actually thinking about kind of like maybe like a jazz Frank Sinatra sort of vibe for one of them. So I thought that would be cool and something a little different.
Well, maybe somebody listening to this will be reaching out to you
Yeah,
in the future. You never
I
know.
hope so.
There's a variety of folks out there, and I know there's a healthy dose of the viewers are musicians themselves. So I'm sure that there's a vocalist that would fit the bill.
Yeah, reach out.
And
Uh,
what else do you have planned moving forward? It seems like you have kind of strategized some of your, like, as you mentioned, you wanted to try to do in some of your own vocals, but you knew that you were going to kind of parse some things out to other people. So it seems like you kind of had a strategy that, like, oh, well, in a year's time, I'll do this. In a year's time, I do this. So do you have anything forecasted beyond these singles? Like, is there a longer term strategy, or are you just building upon each success?
um, well, I guess like I I think I have over 100 or so songs I've written long ago. So my
Wow.
goal's just always been to like just keep getting all these old songs. So I love writing new ones, but I just have this like big binder of songs. So that's sort of my goal is like get these songs out. Overall I do have like a big sort of choir project that I'd love to get out. I've written a lot of songs for choir
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah. So I just that's my big main goal. So I thought like I'll chip away at the songs and get them out, but I also want to work on this big thing overall.
That sounds like an interesting little flex to kind of build, and you would have a wider project with multiple singers. It could be interesting for your mixing side as well.
Yeah, I was debating whether to actually hire out like a choir or just get like maybe four people to
Yeah,
do all the different layers.
yeah. I suppose there'd be pros and cons to each.
Yeah.
So, have you considered, or maybe you've already been doing, have you been doing any production side work for other artists, or has it just primarily been on your own projects?
I'm really interested in doing that, but I haven't yet. For other audio work, though, I have been working on a film, doing like sound design and edit and mix. So that's been really fun. But yeah, I love the producing side of music as well. So I'd be open if anyone wanted like help or
Hmm.
anything with producing or engineering. I'm always happy to help out and collaborate.
And to pull on the thread of, you said you were working with some film. Is that a local production? I know you probably can't talk too much about if it's an in production thing, but is it local or is it something you're working remotely on?
It's a remote thing, but it is Canadian. It's an indie film, and hopefully, I think it'll probably be wrapped up this or next month.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, when you
Oh,
have some details to share, by all means, send it along.
oh yeah.
I like to check that stuff out as well.
Oh
I'm
sure.
not just a music fan, so
Oh
yeah, I would
cool. Yeah,
definitely
I'll
love to
send
check
that
out an indie
along.
film for sure.
I think it'll be really cool to like see it at the local like film festivals and everything, and be like, I was part of that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you have any plans to be attending any of the festivals yourself coming up in the next few months, or you're just in the background gearing up to get all that content out there for now?
I'm mostly in the background right now, just sort of getting ready. I'm thinking about releasing one of my instrumental tracks in December. To I wrote it after my grandfather passed away some years ago, and I thought it would be nice to release it on his death anniversary in this December. So I'm sort of aiming for that, and that'll sort of be like my big instrumental release after not releasing instrumental in a long time.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a nice way to pay tribute.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to release like music videos to go along with these? Like, I do know that you maintain a YouTube channel.
Yes. Not at the moment. I do like the idea of it. It's just a matter of I guess getting grants for it and I guess thinking about what kind of style and everything because I in timeline, I know it takes a long time to make lyric videos are a little bit more easier, but if it's just picture and stuff, then the animation does take a long time.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I guess that would be a longer term.
sure. I
Yeah.
think that over the next few years, we're going to see until somebody puts some kind of restraining on the AI. I think that we're going to see a lot
Oh,
of that stuff get a lot easier in the next couple of years.
that's
I've
true.
played with a little bit of it, and I've seen work that other people have produced using it. I think
Oh.
pros and cons again, but I think you're going to see a lot of that stuff get a lot easier for
For
the.
music videos?
Yeah, yeah. I
Cool.
definitely I'm
Actually didn't
seeing
know that.
some trends where you can put your content in and it will produce a lyric video for you, or you
Oh
can
wow.
you can add in different descriptive terms to help it to auto generate some visuals for you as well. So yeah, it's not all 100% there. Like I said, I've seen some really good content out there. The little bit that I've played with, I'm not I'm definitely a novice. I wouldn't
Right.
but yeah, I would say the next couple of years, for someone like yourself that's trying to do a lot of the work on your own, I think you're going to see a lot of tools come out the next couple of years that are going to make that end probably a lot easier on a lot of people.
Oh, cool.
As long as people are using it. I don't know if the consumer end doesn't support it, it'll fall apart before the development gets to the point that it's really super useful for all of us. But
Yeah, AI is something I feel kind of iffy on, as I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But if it's used in like, I'm sure if there's like guidelines or like respectful ways of using it, and
I
yeah,
tried playing with it. I was gonna say, like, as far as like the newsletter, I considered doing some type of newsletter format for the podcast, which it could be very interesting, but I didn't like the amount of effort that was involved in putting it together, and I
yeah,
don't feel like I'm practiced enough as a writer at this point in my life that it just comes to me organically. I could definitely
right,
talk, but to put pen to paper kind of thing, it's a little bit more difficult. So I did try just experiments to see what type of content AI would
yeah,
generate on that end, and it's very suspect. You have to
yeah,
you can edit it very quickly and make something that's flowery and sounds really good,
yeah,
but if it's accurate or not, it's another question. Sometimes it's eerie how accurate it is, and other times it's 99% fabricated and like
yeah,
you couldn't tell. So
yeah,
it's a little, that's the dangerous end, is if you can't tell the truth from fiction piece of it.
yeah,
But yeah, as you say, as long as there's some guidelines to it, and
yeah.
yeah, we'll wait and see where that's going. So how do you find over the last year? I know a lot of the artists that I've interviewed, and especially people that have been back on, like return guests, the last year, a lot of things shifted, and there's a lot more live performance right now, which is
Yeah,
great. It's really healthy. I hate to say it, but I mean, we're getting to the point of saturation where there's so much to do that, like, I think
yeah,
people are just kind of passively starting to go to some of the shows. So I hope that trend goes away and people focus more on the art itself.
yeah.
But where you yourself are not necessarily out there performing live, I'm curious for your perspective, because it would be a little bit different. What did you notice in the past year since you've been on has changed industry wide from your perspective? Has there been any big things now that things are open again that you've noticed that are different?
That's a good question. I honestly haven't really thought about it a whole lot, but that's true. I did notice a lot of live shows, which is good for musicians that do live shows. I guess sometimes the question sort of comes to mind, like, is this something that I want to do, and
Hmm.
will I be able to make it without doing the live shows? And there's nothing wrong with that. I guess personally, I'm not into the um bar scene, I guess, as much. So
Sure.
it's just not something that I gravitate towards. But yeah, I do love performing, so I guess it's something I've been kicking around, I guess getting on board with. But otherwise, I do like the just usually I hire like PR people as well. Like that's something that I just started last year,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's been working well for me, helping introduce my music to new people and new audiences. And I might just kind of keep going that route for now and just sort of see where that goes. And if I want to supplement it with performances.
Have you noticed that there's more people out there available to help you on that end?
Oh, yeah. That was another good thing about I guess the way everything is right now, the way you can do things virtually, like use air gigs and stuff. To be honest, I don't know how long air gigs has been around, but just it just seems more possible these days to work with anyone, anywhere in the world, kind of thing. And it's like if you can't rent out studio space or you can't afford studio time, you can just hire someone who's set up to like record drums or um and then send it back to you for mixing, which you can just do at your computer. So
Yes.
yeah, it does seem very accessible now in that way as well. Whereas
And
I'm sure a long time ago it would have been like surprising. Like I wouldn't have even guessed like years ago. Like I always thought, oh, I have to save up money to do studio time and everything like that. And yeah.
oh yeah, well, even like this small setup that this is just the corner of a room in my apartment, but I mean, even this 3-4 years ago, I mean, people could have done it, but it just seems second nature to be able to hop on a computer and have a video call with somebody now. Like the technology's
Yeah.
been here,
Yeah.
but we adopted it, and now that things are reopened, it's still lingering as a tool that we're still using. So it is interesting because it's opened up accessibility in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And so do you plan on pushing into any other markets then, since you are considering that online and you're looking outside of our region for people to collaborate with? So are you planning on pushing yourself out into other markets in Canada or outside of Canada?
Um, yes. I guess in like for nothing at all,
Hmm.
it was my first time, um, it was my first sort of bigger radio campaign.
Hmm.
And I thought it went well. I was with a radio PR company in the States,
Okay.
and they targeted, a lot of the states. They did Canada as well, and a little bit international. And I actually did get an air streamed, I think, in the UK, which was cool. But
Yeah.
I got a lot of stream airplay from like US campus radio and stuff, which is really cool. And I kind of feel like I think there's a market for my sound over there, which is kind of cool. Because I love a lot of the American songwriters from long ago. So just to
Sure.
kind of be on the radio over there was really cool for me. I was also sort of looking at expanding, I guess, my reach by releasing different styles.
Hmm.
My next singles are all sort of in different styles than what I normally write in.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, so actually I was sort of debating it whether it's too different to be like under my name to release, but I think I'm gonna go for it for the songs. But the instrumental one's actually a bit more hip hop-ish, so I think they'll expand my reach a little bit more as well.
And will those be instrumental, did you say?
That one will be piano and violin will be the main instruments on that.
Well, that would be very interesting because we definitely have a lot of indie rappers that are
Oh yeah.
floating around. At least on our social media, I can't confess that they definitely listen to all the
Oh
interviews.
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully a couple of them caught this too, because I'd
Oh
be
yeah.
interested to hear if any of them are listening to those when they come out,
Yeah, I
and
was
maybe trying to put something over top of them.
oh I was debating collaborating for drums on it, but I'm not sure yet. I did do it myself so far, but right now I'm sort of in the early stages of editing and finessing what I have so far. But
Excellent.
I was sort of proud of I did like the piano in real time, and it's kind of like a lot of that, a lot of broken notes
Hmm.
and stuff, broken chords. And yeah, I think it'll sound really nice. Sort of like orchestral hip hop-ish, maybe. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the genre would be.
Well, that's exciting. And did you say violin? Is that you yourself doing violin on it, or you have somebody
I
already
do
collaborating
play
with you?
violin, but I actually just used VST.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll see
Yeah.
what kind of traction you get on it too. You might want to end
Yeah.
up pulling in for some type of performance in the future too.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
That's See, now I'm here trying to push you to collaborate with people digitally, like, and get
Oh, yeah,
some of
no,
the hip
thank
hop
you.
people to. But at the same time, when I have the rappers on, I try to push them to perform with live artists. It's not a preference thing. I just like to see people do different things.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I always like collaborating, but I guess I'm a sort of shy person, so like
Oh,
sometimes it's a
certainly.
little hard to reach out, but I always like collaborating,
Well, that's
so
why anybody that's
yeah.
listening to this, feel free to reach out to Melina if
Yeah,
you'd like to
please do.
collaborate in the future, because I know she is always looking for collaborators, but she may not reach out to you. So
Yeah.
let her know that you're listening and you're looking to hook up with something in the future,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
especially where she has so many songs already written. You never know. There might already be something she could just pull out of the bag.
I was actually for one of my songs, I was going for a sort of spy music sort of vibe, like
Yeah.
sort of like an 80s ballad, sort of spy sort of vibe. So I was thinking about collaborating with a vocalist that sort of has that sort of maybe like a Blondie sort of voice or
Yeah,
vibe. So if anyone's out there and is interested,
there you go.
almost everything's done. I just need a vocalist.
I'm super excited to hear where some of these projects end up going when they're finished.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about like putting them all in one album and just creating like an album called like something different or something
Yeah,
like that. Just keep all the different things together, but I'll see.
well, I like the idea. Keep that. Work on it.
Yeah.
Workshop it a little bit, and we'll see where we go. And maybe you can circle back and give us an update in the future.
Yeah, I'd like that.
So for today, your new single, would you like us to play out with that for everyone today?
Oh, sure. Yes, please.
So nothing at all. You talked a little bit about the process in behind it, but lyrically, is there any meaning behind it or an inspiration or story for that?
Well, I was looking at writing like a sort of true blue, like retro pop tune, and well, a lot of the world building songs are like love songs, and I like writing love songs, so I wrote a love song, and for like composition wise, like I was listening to like the old Be My Baby like sessions, and I got some ideas for the bass for that, and I felt sort of proud that I was doing the bass for the one of my first times like doing like the prominent bass in the song. But
That's excellent.
yeah.
And did I also see reference that you have curated your own playlist of inspirations as well?
Yes, that's through the Aesthetic Magazine playlist, and yeah, they asked me if I could make a playlist of songs that inspired it. So that was a lot of fun. Like, I think it's a pretty good playlist if you want something like sunshiny and positive to listen to. It's got a lot of nice upbeat songs like Be My Baby or The Monkey Sometime in the Morning or Beach Boys, God Only Knows. Yeah.
So it's something for anyone that likes this single of yours while they're waiting for a follow-up single to come out. They
Yes.
can check out this inspiration playlist and check out your back catalog available on Spotify. I know
Oh, yeah.
you're on Bandcamp as well if people want to send you a couple dollars to go towards these projects.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. It's my first time actually getting on Bandcamp, so like I haven't made a sale yet, but if somebody wants to be my first,
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
think when we talked
happy.
before, you were favoring the iTunes because of the payment uh percentage or the way that
Yeah,
they gave you back a little bit of income off that, but I think
things really
Bandcamp would
changed over
probably,
the years. Like I
yeah,
actually used to make money from sales, but now I don't. So,
yeah, I know
yeah,
a few people now that I'm privy to a little bit more of the behind the scenes information, and it's sad really for, like how
yeah,
much some of the artists like yourself are actually getting back. It's not enough. The going
oh,
on Bandcamp, for anyone listening that doesn't know those numbers, going on Bandcamp and throwing somebody a buck for a song or like 5-10 bucks for their album, it really does matter because it adds up
yeah.
after a few sales. So definitely keep that in mind. And while you're out there online, check out Melina Coolen, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for your projects here in the future. And for everyone here with us today, we're going to have a listen to Nothing at All. Thank you for your time, Melina, and we'll talk to you
Oh,
again soon.
thank you. Nice to talk to you again.
Like the summer rain that falls, you are gentle for my soul. You always make me smile. In the silence of the moon, your light fills up my soul, and I have to wake you up. I just wanted to say nothing at all, nothing at all. I just wanted to say nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all. Those 2 years were just so long. I'm so glad you came along. You complete this broken star.